my question is more like, so I have patients from different countries.
Mhm.
They come to Canada, the immigration in Canada. I don't know if you're familiar with it. So there are refugees that come from so many places and so many Latino countries. And when I speak, my boss is telling me like my pronunciation is very good and I'm very clear when I talk. But
Mhm.
there are people who understand me and people that don't understand me. So I'm trying to understand how can I make the people who don't understand me understand me. So I have people from Mexico. Like some of them do understand me, but most of them they have trouble. So I'm trying to understand why.
You have trouble understanding your pronunciation or understanding like the sentence that you're saying?
I think it's maybe the pronunciation, my accent, maybe because when I ask my boss, he's like, "Bro," and he tells me people from Mexico they don't speak the same way. So this is, I think, maybe where.
Because I know in Mexico they use certain slang words and stuff, but I feel like the main differences between like the way the words are pronounced, there's not like it's mainly just slang and like maybe small things like the double L's or the Y's being like y. But I'm pretty sure they say that that's how they speak in like Peru as well, or at least the majority of the Spanish-speaking countries. Like, what do you have a peculiar accent when speaking Spanish?
Okay, so if I give you an example, so when I speak, when I go get the patient, I'm like, "Hola, yo me llamo Jinan, soy la higienista, vamos a comenzar con la radiografía panorámica." So this is how I speak.
I mean, to me, that's pretty clear. I mean, I feel like most natives should easily understand that. Is the confusion based on like maybe it's that you use complicated words in Spanish that like even someone in English might not fully understand? Because I know that you said that you work in like the professional field in like medical practices. Like even in English, if in English someone used the word like a complicated like medicine word, I wouldn't really understand what the word like actually is. Maybe that's what they mean by confusion. Because I feel like
I mean,
I feel like it's pretty clear.
I get you. I think you're right in that area, but how can I say this? So I ask them how many times per day, like they brush your teeth, if they use floss, and I know that the phrases that I use are not exact because I'm not like the best at Spanish, but I asked my boss to give me phrases to use. So I say, ¿Cuántas veces al día tú cepillas tus dientes? O usa hilo dental, usa enjuague bucal. Say like questions like this to know, like, I'm in the dental field, so I have to ask them all of those questions. And so many of them, they just don't get it. So, so that's why I'm like very confused.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, it sounds fine. Like to me, it's perfectly comprehensible. Maybe, for example, like you might maybe accidentally slip up on, for example, like let's say if it says double L, you might accidentally pronounce the L. So, or for example, like this, you probably don't do this, but a lot of Americans will make the mistake of pronouncing the H's, right? When H's are silent, like voy a hablar español, right? And that makes it very hard to understand.
Yeah.
But from what I can tell, I feel like I don't think that might be a big issue for you directly. Maybe just a good tip I could give you there is try to listen to like the sentence that you're learning, right? Try to listen to how a native would say that. So do you know a native personally?
Yeah, my boss and my colleagues.
Oh yeah.
So I ask them all the time.
You could just simply ask them, or simply just like, how do you say this word? And then just try to listen to how they say it, and then just replicate that the exact way they say it. And that would like, to me, that is directly hitting the like problem on its head, or like the nail on its head, right? You're directly targeting the issue that way.
But
So yeah.
yeah, I think it's very good advice. But you know what I do? Usually, so I do hand gestures so they understand me better. Yeah. But I ask the person, how do we say that in Spanish? ¿Cómo se dice that word in Spanish for those who speak a little bit of English? And every time, like some people tell me it's this, and then other people tell me it's that. And then, so I think it's also depending on the country. So I have to maybe learn more about the vocabulary depending on which country. So there's that. I think so too.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Different accents have different like general words for different things. And so that just depends on like countries, but also like I feel like if that's an issue, again, the way I sort of approach that is when you don't understand something, to just to understand it, you just try to just use different tools to either translate or all those things. But you're completely right in that learning like variations of different words, specific, I guess for your case, you have a very specific
Mhm.
case, is very important. Yes. And also, for example, like from my view, if you want to get fluent, like fluent in the sense of like back and forth conversations, not natively fluent, there's a degree of understanding the logic behind Spanish. So being able to reformulate sentences in different ways.
Yeah.
So like, for example, okay, you know, the verb to understand, you could say entender, but you could also say comprender, and they're both used. And so understanding that there are both of those, both of those options exist out there, even if it's not accent or dialect dependent, is still very useful. And then being able to understand the logic of that.
Mhm.
I assume you have been more so like your learning of Spanish is more so passive. Like you've just in your field, it's been like a natural aspect. A natural aspect of your field is learning Spanish, but you've done less like direct studying or a lot of like direct studying.
Yeah, I didn't do direct studying. The last time I did that was in high school, like 10 years ago, something like that,
Yeah.
because I had an actual course. This is where I learned my basics, and this is what helped me a lot, like right now. Somehow I still remember those. But yeah, I think with over time, I'm gonna take it more seriously, like now, like I'm doing right now. I'm trying to go back to the courses, like, and trying to listen to your videos, and yeah. So overall, I'm gonna try.
So I would recommend personally, if you have you gone through the roadmap in the Speed Spanish Hub, like the if you click on the courses tab and then the first one or second one technically. Have you watched that
I
one?
started those. I started them. I don't know where I am. I don't remember where exactly.
Right. What I could recommend to you directly is just starting for free directly. You could start with what I use as well. It's language transfer, and
Mhm.
basically you wanna find something that you can understand the logic of Spanish. Okay, I do that in my own program as well. But for free, you can start off with an app called Language Transfer, and it's 90 lessons. Each lesson is like 5 minutes, and I mean, if you, the way I did it was on the way to school, I would listen to those courses or like the lesson. And so maybe you could do that if you commute to work or just generally like whenever you have 15 minutes extra, just listening to that because it's active engagement, right? You pause, you answer the questions out loud. And so it's called
Okay.
Language Transfer and it's an app and it's just a course. You click the Spanish course. And it's also what I go through myself as well. If you prefer support from me, but yeah, it depends on your preference.
Okay. Thank you.